Hello! Thanksgiving is over and it's Christmas time! I'm a huge fan of Christmas, so I'm sorry if it's not your thing. I love it. So today we are making cinnamon rolls. This is kind of twofold because one, cinnamon rolls has always been something I associate with Christmas. Cinnamon being like kind of that warm spice that's used around the wintertime, and because when I was younger, my mom would make us cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. Thank you, Mom. And also because I have been watching Critical Role Season 3. If you're a fan of Critical Role, super minor spoilers about an NPC that the characters run into. Nothing major, but just be forewarned. There's a character that the players ran into called the Shadow Baker. And he gave them a cinnamon roll, and I'm sitting on the couch watching this and going, challenge accepted. And so now I have to make it. This was like a couple weeks ago that this aired, and I've been thinking about it since then. So we're gonna make some cinnamon rolls from Critical Role. Even if you don't watch Critical Role, this is gonna be I hope, fantastic recipe for cinnamon rolls. So let's go. Now the way that these cinnamon rolls were described in the show was a cinnamon roll with kind of purplish icing on top and orange flecks. That to me says that I'm gonna make regular cinnamon rolls. That'll be kind of the easier part, I think. And then I'm partial to cream cheese icing on my cinnamon rolls, and I have some cream cheese, so I think what I'm gonna do is try to add some berry flavor, because I think that will turn it purple and also taste really good with the cinnamon roll itself, and kind of add some acidity to cut the sweetness. So I'm gonna do that somehow. I haven't actually figured that part out yet. We'll get to it when we get to it. And then for the orange flecks on the top, I think I'm just gonna add some like orange zest. So that's the plan. You're gonna be working hard this season, buddy. Get ready. All right, let's go. For the cinnamon rolls, I'll be using a recipe from Joshua Wiseman's cookbook, which I'll put a link to in the description if you'd like to get it. To start, we're going to make a tangzong, which is a mixture of 18 grams of flour, 30 ml of water, and 60 ml of whole milk, heated over medium heat until the flour is dissolved and you get a thick paste-like texture. This step will help provide a soft, tender cinnamon roll at the end. Next, we'll whisk together 7 grams of instant yeast with 250 ml of warm milk, and set aside to let it do its yeasty, activaty, bubbly thing. Meanwhile, we can mix together the dry ingredients: 600 grams of all-purpose flour, 100 grams of sugar, and a pinch of salt. Add to the yeasty milk and mix on low before adding the tangzong and the eggs one at a time. Next, we'll add the fat to the party in the form of 4 tablespoons of butter, added one at a time while mixing to allow it to fully incorporate before adding the next tablespoon. Similarly, we'll add 30 ml of neutral oil, small bits at a time while mixing. The dough will be very sticky at this point, and that's okay. The oil will help it slip around the bowl a little. Just keep mixing until you have a silky, uniform, but still slightly sticky dough. This part can take a while, so just be patient. I did find it helpful every once in a while to stop the stand mixer and take everything off of the hook, add some butter, and then put the mixer back down and start it again. Then we'll grease a bowl and plop it in there to let it rise for 1 to 2 hours or until doubled in size. Because the dough is so sticky, you might want to also grease the plastic wrap that you're using on the top so that it doesn't stick. For that reason, I also would not recommend using a towel for this. Once doubled, punch down the dough to get the gases out and roll out to about a 13-inch long, 1/4-inch thick rectangle. Spread the surface of the dough with softened butter. Now, it's very important to not use melted butter. Softened butter is what you want. If you find that your butter is a little hard to spread, 3 to 5 seconds in the microwave will usually loosen it up a little bit and make it easier to spread, but be very careful not to melt it. Then for the cinnamon sugar bit, we'll mix 215 grams of brown sugar, 24 grams of white sugar or muscovado sugar if you have it, and 16 grams of ground cinnamon, and sprinkle all of it over the surface of the dough. It seems like a lot, but trust me, use it all. Then we'll roll them up from the long side of a rectangle and attempt to cut them in even rolls. Even though I was working on a floured surface, I found it very helpful to use my bench scraper to help me roll these up, because there were still some spots where the dough was stuck to the cutting board. As they're cut, we can place them in a greased pan to allow them to rise a second time, 35 to 45 minutes. Then we'll bake at 375 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes or until golden brown. While the cinnamon rolls are resting, let's figure out this berry cream cheese frosting nonsense. I have this frozen berry blend from Costco. Since I have it, I'm gonna use it. Cream cheese icing is just powdered sugar, cream cheese, and milk is the liquid that makes it so that you can like drizzle it. So depending on the consistency of how these heated fruits come out, I'll play with if I actually need the milk or not and how much I put in there to make it drizzleable and the consistency that I want. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see how this goes. I've never tried to do this before. This is the stuff I really like doing. I love experimenting with new stuff and just trying things and seeing what happens. And if it works out, then you can try it too. And if it doesn't work out, and it goes horribly wrong, then you'll know not to do that. For this, I simply added 2 cups of frozen berries to a sauce pot over medium heat and cooked, stirring semi-frequently for about 3 to 5 minutes. Since the berries were from the freezer, they had a little bit of frost on the outside, which melted and added a tiny bit of water, but also some of the berries started to burst, adding juice. So that made it so that I didn't really need any liquid in there. I literally just used berries and that's it. I did mush a couple of them, but I left most of them whole. And in case you're wondering, the mixture that I used is blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. I didn't add anything, I just used the berries, and I feel like this is good. And it smells fantastic. So I'm gonna let this cool for a bit, and then I'll come back and see like how the consistency is, because right now it's like really liquidy. Like, we'll see. As it was cooling, I started on the icing with 4 ounces of cream cheese, and then immediately began struggling with my powdered sugar container. Why did I do this? Why did I think that this was a good idea? Oh my god, okay. All right, well, that's all the powdered sugar we got. Let's do this. Once I had claimed victory over the container, I whipped on medium-low speed with a hand mixer until combined and smooth, making sure that the powdered sugar was fully dissolved and no clumps remained. All right, so this is the consistency I've gotten so far. It's kind of like, it's kind of like the Tangzong, actually. All right, let's try adding a little bit of this. I will measure. That is the problem with making up things, is I make things up all the time and I combine things and I never measure anything. And then later on when I go to recreate it, I'm like, oh, dang it, I didn't write it down and I don't know how much I put in there. I'm gonna use a teaspoon. We're gonna just add a little bit at a time. And then, ooh, look how pretty. Look how pretty that is. Yeah, that's like some cream cheesy jammy stuff right there. I mean, that's exactly what it is, because that's what it's made of. Okay, anyway. And this is not drizzleable though. This is chunky. So I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of milk. Just like, that's it. That's it. Almost. Okay, a little bit more milk. Almost. It's kind of floopy. Here, actually, let's try. Let's try it. All I taste is cream cheese and sugar. It doesn't taste like berry. Okay. Needs more berry. That's 2 teaspoons of berry stuff. Melted, mashed, heated, cooled berry. That's not drizzleable, but oh, you know what? Something I just thought of is it's gonna go on hot cinnamon rolls. So this is actually pretty like soft. If it's gonna go on hot cinnamon rolls, it's gonna heat up and kind of bleh, ooze everywhere. So I think I'm gonna leave it. I'll put just a little bit more milk, just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. That's good. I'm gonna leave it. Okay. Now we have to wait for the cinnamon rolls to be done. Once the cinnamon rolls were done, it was time to drizzle with the icing. Since the cinnamon rolls were described with a little flecks of orange on the top, I decided to add some orange zest to the top as well. It looks so dang good. I'm excited. Okay. Wow. This is the softest cinnamon roll. Oh man, that's good. That is so satisfying. You know, I put the orange zest on top only because Matt Mercer said that it had little orange flakes on the top, but it actually like smells really good and it tastes really good too. It brings like a bright citrusy flavor to the top of it. And this icing was genius. It worked out great. I don't know if he planned for the shadow baker to have this, or if he just came up with it on the spot, but if he came up with it on the spot, good on ya, because this is actually really, really good together. The berry cream cheese and the cinnamon roll work really well. If you like this video or you learned something, give it a like. If you'd like to learn more, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!